Hello students, welcome to the English class. Today we are going to discuss the fourth short story of your book Woven Words, and the name of the short story is The Adventure of Three Garridebs, and it is an adventurous story, and it is written by Arthur Conan Doyle. So here I want to clarify that this story is written by the partner and the assistant of Sherlock Holmes named as Watson. Okay, so let us start with the story. It may have been a comedy or it may have been a tragedy. So here Watson has said that it's up to you that what you consider it, whether it's a comedy or a tragedy. It cost one man its reason, it cost me bloodletting, and it cost yet another man the penalties of the law. So here Watson is saying that whatever you category you just give it to comedy or tragedy, but this incident has cost me lot of bloodletting, and one man got arrested and he has to bear the penalties of the law, and one man has to spare his mind intelligence in solving this, or we can say the case. Okay, now yet there was certainly an element of comedy. Well, you shall judge by for yourself. So Watson is saying that there is some sort of comedy also, so you just judge yourself. Then I remember the date very well, for it was the same month that Holmes refused a knighthood for services. Here Watson wants to clarify that it was the same month when Holmes had got the opportunity to be a knight, but he refused those services. Okay, let us move forward, which may perhaps someday be described. I only refer to the matter in passing. So here Watson is again moving forward and saying that I am just describing the matter in a passing manner, means in a very light manner. Okay, for in my position of partner and confidant, I am obliged to be particularly careful to avoid any misdiscretion. Here Watson is saying that he is the partner of Sherlock Holmes, of a detective, so he cannot disclose the matter in a very easier manner. Okay, so he should use his wisdom, therefore he has used the word indiscretion. Okay, now let us move forward. I repeat, however, that this enables me to fix the date, which was the latter end of June 1902, shortly after the conclusion of the South African War. So here the author is again telling us about the date, that was the time of the end of June of 1902, and one more incident he is telling us to remember the date, that it was the conclusion time of the South African War. Holmes had spent several days in bed, as was his habit from time to time, but he emerged that morning with a long foolscap document in his hand and a twinkle of amusement in his austere grey eyes. So, after several days of taking rest, Holmes just get up, and that morning he was having a foolscap document in his hand. Foolscap is a size of a paper which is 17 into 13 in inches, and there was a shine of amusement in his eyes. There's a chance for you to make some money, friend Watson, said he. So Sherlock Holmes said to Watson that there is an opportunity to make money. Have you ever heard the name of Garrideb? And along with that opportunity, he also asked Watson that if he had ever heard the name Garrideb. I admitted that I had not, but Watson said that he had never heard such type of strange name. Well, if you can lay your hand upon a Gary Dabb, there's money in it. So, Sherlock Holmes asked Watson that if he can search such type of name, then he can easily earn money from that. Why? There's a long story, rather a whimsical one too. So, when Sherlock Holmes asked Watson that there is money in finding the person which is similar to the name of Gary Dabb, so Watson asked him that why. Then he just stopped him by saying that it is a long story and that you will come to know later. I don't think in our explorations of human complexities we have ever come upon anything more singular. And here Holmes also told Watson that this is a quite different case. We have never come across such sort of cases earlier. The fellow will be here presently for cross-examination, so I won't open the matter till he comes. But meanwhile, that's the name we want. Sherlock Holmes again continue by saying that the person who has given us this case, he will be here so that we can cross-examination and we can move further with the case. Cross-examination means we can ask various related questions from him, and he also said that he won't open the matter unless that Gary Dabb comes, and he just told, I am just telling you that we just have to find out a person whose name is similar to Gary Dabb. The telephone directory lay on the table beside me and I turned over the pages in a rather hopeless quest. But to my amazement, there was this strange name in its due place. I gave a cry of triumph. So Watson started searching the names like similar to the Gary Dabb. So he just saw the telephone directory which was lying besides him. He opened it without any hope because it was a quite strange name. But when he turned the pages, he found a person's name that was Gary Dabb. Means his surname was Gary Dabb. So he became very happy and he cried in a very loud noise that here I have found, now I will be able to get the money. Here you are, Holmes, here it is. Holmes took the book from my hand. Gary Dabb N. He read 136 Little Redder Street, W. Sorry to disappoint you, my dear Watson, but this is the man himself. This is the address upon this letter. We want another to match him. And when Watson told Holmes that he has found the name, then Holmes took the telephone directory from Watson's hand and saw the name Gary Dabb N. It was written there and his address was 136 Little Redder Street, W. Then Street, W means Watson. So here Holmes said that, Watson, sorry, I just don't want to disappoint you by saying that this is the same man who himself has sent this letter and asked us to find out another Gary Dabb. Therefore, we have to find another Gary Dabb except this man. Mrs. Hudson had come in with a card upon a tray. I took it up and glanced at it. So Watson got a visiting card and he looked towards it. Then again he said, why here it is? I cried in amazement. He was shocked. He was surprised by looking towards the card and he found another. This is a different initial. He has said that another Gary Dabb he has found. Means that person who has sent his visiting card, he was also the Gary Dabb and his name was John Gary Dabb. He was counselor at law and he lives at Morville, Kansas, USA. Then Holmes smiled and he looked at the card. Holmes again looked towards the card and he wasn't surprised at that time also. I am afraid you must make yet another effort, Watson, said he. Again, Sherlock Holmes asked him that you have to make one more effort, means you have to search one more Gary Deb, because this gentleman is also in the plot already. Means he knew this person, this Gary Deb, also from earlier. Though I certainly did not expect to see him this morning. And Sherlock also said that he was not waiting for this Gary Deb, he was waiting for Gary Deb N. But why he has come here, Sherlock Holmes doesn't know. However, he is in a position to tell us good deal which I want to know. So Holmes said that, but he can also answer many of our question. He can also satisfy our curiosity. A moment later, he was in room. Mr. John Gary Deb, counselor at law, was a short, powerful man with a round, fresh, clean-shaven face, characteristic of so many American men of affairs. So, when John Gary Deb came inside, where Sherlock Holmes and Watson were there, so he was counselor at law. We all know his designation, and his appearance is been. Physical appearance has been described here. He was a short, powerful man with a round, fresh, clean-shaven face. He was living just like the famous personalities of America. The general effect was chubby and rather childlike, so that one received the impression and rather of quite a young man with a broad set smile upon his face. So he was having chubby cheeks and smiley face, so one can easily have an impression that he is quite a jolly person. His eyes, however, were arresting. Seldom in any human head have I seen a pair which bespoke a more intense inward life. So bright were they, so alert, so responsive to every change of thought. Then Watson also described the beautiful eyes. Beautiful eyes means his eyes were attractive, and he said that he has less person of such kind of eyes which speaks, means which tells about his personality. Okay, now let us move forward. His accent was American but was not accompanied by any eccentricity of speech. So the way he speaks, he appears to be an American, but his speech was quite polite. It was not so complex. Mr. Holmes, he asked, glancing from one to other. Ah, yes, your pictures are not unlike you, sir. If I may say so, I believe you have had a letter from my namesake, Mr. Nathan Gary Deb, have you not? So, John Gary Deb asked Mr. Holmes that, by looking towards him, that he doesn't look like his pictures, and he also asked him that if a person similar to his name has sent him a letter, and he just make it confirm by asking him, haven't you got it? Pray sit down, said Sherlock Holmes. We shall, I fancy, have a good deal to discuss. He took up his sheets of foolscap. Sherlock Holmes asked him to sit and said that we will have a good discussion, and he just took out those foolscap sheets. As I have told you earlier, it is the size of the paper, which is 17 by 13 inches. Okay, let us move forward. You are of course the Mr. John Gary Deb mentioned in this document, but surely you have been in England some time. So he asked that you are John Gary Deb, but I must say, who is saying this? Sherlock Holmes. And he said that you have spent some of the part of your life at England also, haven't you? He just asked him. Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes? I seemed to read sudden suspicion in those expressive eyes. So he became more conscious, and he asked Holmes that why are you asking so? Your whole outfit is English. Mr. Holmes said that whatever you have worn, the way you dress up, it is just similar to the English person. Mr. Garrideb forced a laugh. I have read of your tricks, Mr. Holmes, but I never thought I would be the subject of them. Where do you read that? He said. He just laughed. John Garrideb laughed when he has asked that your dress up is just like English person, and he said that I know about your tricks, Mr. Holmes, but I did never have thought that I will be the target of those tricks. The shoulder cut of your coat, the toes of your boots, could anyone doubt it? So Holmes clarified that first he has said that his way of dressing proves that he has spent some of the time at England, and he clarifies it more that his shoulder cut, his coat's shoulder cut and toes of his boots also clarifies that he is living like the English person. Well, I have no idea I was so obvious a Britisher, but business brought me over here some time ago, and so he said, yes, I am a Britisher, but due to business work, I have to come here sometime before. As you say, my outfit is nearly all London. He said, yes, you are right that my outfit is just like London people. However, I guess your time is of value, and we didn't meet to talk about the cut of my socks. What about getting down to that paper you hold in your hand? And he said that I think you are a quite busy person to Holmes, that, and we are here not to discuss about my outfit. What is about means you better to discuss whatever papers you are holding in your hands, better to discuss about them. Holmes had in some way ruffled our visitor, whose chubby face had assumed a far less amiable expression. Now Holmes has raised his feelings, his expressions, and he has become quite serious now. As earlier Watson has described that he was a quite a smiling person, but now he has become a quite peaceful, polite person and serious person. Patience, Mr. Garrideb, said my friend in a soothing voice. So Holmes asked him to be very patient. Gradually we will come to the point. Dr. Watson would tell you that these little digressions of mine sometimes proves in the end to have some bearing on the matter. And Sherlock Holmes here clarified that my partner, my assistant, Dr. Watson, will clarify you that these my such type of little bit questioning proves to be very helpful in our searchings. But why did Mr. Nathan Garrideb not come with you? And he also asked that I was expecting that Mr. Nathan Garrideb will come, and you have come now in place of him. But why he didn't come? Why did he ever drag you into it at all? Asked our visitor with a sudden outflame of anger. So John Garrideb became angry, and he asked that I didn't understand that why Nathan Garrideb has dragged Sherlock Holmes into this matter. What in thunder had you to do with it? He said that there is no work of your, Holmes, in our personal matter. Here was a bit of professional business between two gentlemen, and one of them must need call in a detective. I saw him this morning, and he told me this fool trick he had played on me, and that's why I am here. But I feel bad about it all the same. He said that it was just a matter between two businessmen, and between those two businessmen, one has felt the need of detective, therefore he has called you. But I think, and today in the morning I have come to know from him that he has involved you also in this matter, but I don't think that there is any work of yours in it. Therefore I am here. There was no reflection upon you, Mr. Garrideb. It was simply zeal upon his part to gain your end, an end which is I understand equally vital for both of you. So here Sherlock Holmes just clarify that it is none of your business. It is just his perspective. Whose perspective? Nathan Garrideb's perspective, that he wants to gain his part. He has never thought of the benefit of John Garrideb, and therefore he has said that therefore he has involved me, and which he considered that is important for both of them. He knew that I had means of getting information, and therefore it was very natural that he should apply to me. And he said that Nathan Garrideb is quite familiar with me and my ability, therefore he has approached me. So students, we will continue with the lesson in the next video, because if I will continue with it, it will become very difficult, because this lesson is quite lengthy. So it will take at least 2 to 3 hours to finish up a lesson in one go. Therefore, I have make it in breaks. So we will continue with it in the next video. So keep on reading it. Enjoy the lesson. It is quite adventurous, quite interesting. Go ahead with it. Thank you.